So I'm Michelle Struck from Dayton, Ohio. This is my husband Bryon, and this is our 2010 Challenger in Furious Fuchsia and our 1972 Pantera. This car, the Pantera, is number 3386, and this car is number 94 of 400. So both cars are really super rare and special. We've shown the cars successfully for quite a few years now, and feel really blessed to have them. So when I was a little girl, I was the kid that had car posters all over my wall instead of boy posters, and my mom and dad told me that I used to wheel around my Hot Wheels cars in a baby carriage to get them where I needed to go. But the Pantera was on my wall, and I'd cut out collages from Hot Rod magazines and stuff and paste them on my wall. But yeah, it's funny to pull up to the gas station and they're like, "Man, your husband's car is really cool." I was like, "Nah, all right, whatever, peace." It's cool to go to car shows and get respect, especially the concours shows where most people have a caretaker that details their cars, and I do it all myself, along with the help of my dad as well. But it's a little challenging to be taken seriously and to not look like somebody that just rented their dad's car or took their dad's car out for the day or whatever. But yeah, it's fun to pull into a show and have my daughter with me, and she's waving at everybody.
Well, and the funny thing is people walk up to me trying to talk to me about the car, and I say, well, she knows a lot more about it than I do. You're gonna have to talk to her.
Yep.
So
yeah. We found the Challenger on our second date. We went to test drive a couple of different cars. We test drove a Camaro, Super Sport, a 370Z, a Mustang, which hopefully nobody bought after we drove, and the Challenger. And when we found this Challenger, it was unfortunately out of my price range, and it's 10 grand over sticker. And in March of the following year, we found like 50 of these online in this color, all on the showroom new, and we ended up with this car that we got out of Kokomo, Indiana, brand new off the showroom floor. And it is a 40th anniversary to Panther Pink, and the car comes the way that you see it, so with the white interior, the black wheels, completely loaded, the carbon fiber stripe. And then we showed this car successfully for a little while, and on another date went to the Dayton Concours and found the Pantera, and it was the only car that you took a picture of that weekend. And I put it on my Instagram and said, "Someday, my dear," and sure enough, we have the very car that we followed around the show. So in 2016, we showed at a show with both cars, and the previous owner of the Pantera actually was at the show with us. We were there all night, and I said, "Man, if you ever want to sell this car, let us know." Not that we had any practicality buying it. My daughter was, what, 7 months old, and he called us up one day in March and said, "Hey, I think I'm ready to sell this car." And of course I had to get permission from him and to make sure that it was a sound decision. And we ended up buying the Pantera, so we've had it now for 4 years, and we've shown that car pretty successfully as well.
Yeah.
But the better part of the whole deal is that I was adopted and found my dad when I was 40. I'm 47 now. And when I found my dad and we started talking, we realized that we had crossed each other at the same car shows and the same racetracks, and probably I had seen his car drag race before and not known it. So now it's something that we're able to do together. We went looking for Panteras at Mecum and at different auctions, and went through a bunch of them and just couldn't find the one we wanted, and it just kept coming back to this car. I think we saw the Pantera, this Pantera specifically, probably 5 different times, and it's like, yeah, that's the car.
Yeah.
And so we've had it ever since, and hopefully it will pay to put our daughter through college. We're driving her 529 plan.
There you go.
So yeah, that's what we do for fun, but we feel really blessed to have them for sure.
Definitely.
Absolutely. So the 72 Pantera, when we bought it, had been restored about 20 years prior, but the one thing that didn't happen with it was the interior never got redone. So 2 years ago, we sent the car off to have the interior redone so that when we take it to concourse shows, what they're looking for specifically is for all the materials to match. And when we started to get into the car, we realized that the dashboard had overspray on it. We realized that the two seats, the fabrics, the grain of the vinyl didn't match. So we sent it off, had all the vinyl redone on the dash, the back wall, and the seats so that everything matches, and it's Concord quality. But funny story with the interior is we had the car out for 6 months, and we were getting ready to go to Keeneland with the car, put the interior back in 5 days before we were supposed to leave, and the alternator went dead. So my dad and I actually tore the whole interior out of the car, went and bought an alternator for it, and my dad and I ended up putting it in. My dad took floor duty, and the front of the motor's right in your face, right behind the seats. So we had to do major work to the car before we went to a show. That sucked.
Yeah, that did.
That was terrible. So yeah, it's just how it goes. But as far as what needs to be done on it next, I'd say the motor needs to be gone through. It does decent, but I'd like it to be a little bit more simplified. So we'll go through it here in the next couple of years, I'm sure.